Freedom Stream. That was a song by Widespread Panic called Blue Indian. Whoa, 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 whoa. Great band. Here's my host and co-host and producer for the night, Mark Livgreen.
Shalom.
Yeah. Welcome to the Late Night Freedom Stream, everybody. Let's go, Chiefs! Oh, okay. We're AFC champions, baby. Playing the 49ers tomorrow night. Or in the day. I don't know. What time does the Super Bowl usually start, Mark?
I think it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock around there.
Oh, okay.
Lola.
Whoa, your dog's excited for it. So I think I want to get into some Springfield news first. If you'd cue up that first clip that I gave you. So I was trolling around on Springfield, on the city of Springfield's website, and they have a bunch of weird like Black history stuff going on right now. And I think the first clip is called Lights On, Missouri. It should be at the top there, Mark. Lights On. And then got some notes here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Waters, the Public Affairs Officer for the Springfield Police Department. Today is a really exciting day for the city of Springfield and the Springfield Police Department. But first, I'd like to thank our local media partners here today and everyone online watching our live stream. Today's announcement brings a new, innovative, community-driven program to Springfield that facilitates a positive, restorative interaction between our police officers and the community. To tell you more about this program, I'd like to introduce Springfield's Chief of Police, Paul Williams.
So I'd never seen the Chief of Police, but this is him, this little guy here.
As Chris said, I'm excited about being here this morning as well.
I am excited.
We're bringing a new program and a partnership to Springfield, a partnership with an organization called Lights On. As you know, fostering positive relationships with the community has always been a focus of the Springfield Police Department.
Okay, go ahead and pause this.
Lights On.
Skip forward a few minutes here until you see the black ladies. Go ahead and keep scanning, keep scanning. Okay, right about there.
To talk more about Springfield NAACP's involvement, let me introduce Springfield NAACP President Kai Sutton. Kai?
Hello, my name is Kai Sutton. I'm the local president of the NAACP chapter here in Springfield. The NAACP is proud to support this effort to facilitate a more positive, restorative interaction between our police officers and the community. It's a great opportunity for businesses in the community to give back. Me being a single mother myself, who's been in the situation with
Pause it real quick, Mark.
my first thought.
So you can go ahead and turn it down a little bit. But what I think is interesting is she just said it. I'm a single mother. This other woman gets up there and says that, and their NCAA is promoting this because it's going to help black people is the idea. But the fact that they send two representatives and they're both black women that are single mothers, I feel like that's like racist of them. You know what I mean? Why are you playing into stereotypes like that, NCAA?
I just can't get over her nails hitting the freaking podium. That's all I hear.
Let it play some more.
Okay.
Between choosing food, groceries, or fixing car repairs, I would choose groceries for my children. So I was really happy to get behind this project when I have had that lived experience myself. It's a great opportunity for businesses in the community to get involved with as well as full service auto repair providers to give back, helping their neighbors and creating goodwill. So we do encourage you all to get involved as a community to help launch this project.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Zipporah Burns. I'm the NAACP Health Chair. Some of the benefits of the partnership we hope to see is safer roads with the reduction in faulty cars, decrease stress from officers and the community.
Okay, go ahead and skip forward to the founder of this program. It's like a well-dressed black man. Yeah.
Patterson, I'm from Lights On, from Minnesota, Minneapolis. I would say the weather here is great, but the weather's great in Minnesota right now. Hey, El Nino, thank you. But Chief Williams, and Sutton, NAACP members, the Springfield Police Department.
Can you mute it real quick?
Having me here.
So I couldn't make heads or tails when I was watching this before if like this guy's like a grifter using like government money, but he's not, as far as I can tell. So it's like a non-for-profit, and what they do is it is kind of a grift because they get people to invest in it as like a black-owned company. But the thing itself doesn't seem to be like a bad idea. Like the Lights On, who gives police officers the option to give a citation, a warning, or they can give you a voucher to go to one of the stores that is part of this bill, and they'll fix your light for you, which is not like, I don't hate that, honestly, that it kind of gives
a good idea.
Right, totally. But on the other hand, it's like a $7 light. But I think this could actually be a good thing to create goodwill in the community, and I don't know, this guy's kind of smart for starting this hustle.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't like how it's for an exclusive group of people. I mean,
here, really, pause the video.
This program would be good if people just did it in general.
Well, he does say that it's not for it's not just for black people. Like the police officers will use their discretion to decide who gets the vouchers, who gets the warnings, who gets the tickets. But he does mention that that he started this after, what was his name? Castile. He was a black kid that got shot a couple of years ago, and his girlfriend like live streamed him dying. I don't know if you remember that. Philando Castile.
Over what, like a seatbelt violation or something?
Yeah, he told the cop, I have a firearm. The cop was like, don't grab it. I don't know if he grabbed it or not. The cop filled him full of holes, and that was kind of that. Let's play a little bit more of this. I want to see if he says anything interesting.
You said that anxiety is up on both parties. The person in the uniform and that motorist. I myself have been stopped, and especially as a person of color, it is what it is, the reality. So when that comes down, instead of them talking at each other, they're talking with each other. They're pulling their phones out and say, hey, can I do IG Snap and all this other great stuff they're doing now? I have no idea. I just asked the kids. So, so when that happens, think about it.
All right, let's move on to the next video. That's enough of that. So that's the new initiative in Springfield. It's called Lights On. They have their own website. They're in like 28 other states. So you might get a voucher if your light's out on your car, or you could go spend $6 and replace it. So this one's interesting. They had this at the park board, I think, and it's called Freedom Class 101. But essentially what this is this white man went to Lincoln University, which is a predominantly black school, and he went back in the day. So he knew all these black scholars. So most of the popular Missouri books about like race and like black stories and stuff, this dude has written them. I've seen his stuff at Barnes and Nobles. That's his book, Race and Meaning in Missouri. And these two black women started this organization to talk about black stories. And this chick right here, she is into growing hemp with her boyfriend, talks about growing hemp, which is so stereotypical. Come on. And it's pretty bizarre. You can go ahead and play a little bit of this.
Freedom Classroom 101 is a meet and greet regional and national speakers platform that encourages educators to research, rethink, and reimagine.
Turn it down a little bit, Mark. Like 3/4.
African American studies.
Up a little bit more than that.
Of people, their origins, and intersecting histories through movement and laws.
So skip to 1340.
through humanistic lenses? Are we teaching Black history through Black people's perspectives?
Became farmers, and we launched Salem Hemp Kings, a Caribbean American family farm educating while researching the medicinal and industrial uses of hemp. Welcome to our first crop, everyone. This was 300 CBD plants that Osai not only planted by hand, but all of the raised bed rows you see there, he did with a shovel. And so again, as beginning
farmers, go ahead and pause this, Mark. I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest in because I'm kind of interested on his thoughts on this as well. But I want to introduce our next guest, Kurt Wheeler from he produced and co-hosts Del Carter's America. He's from Kansas City. Let's get him on right meow.
Hi.
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going, guys?
Good, man. How are you? Oh,
chilling, man. Just living the dream, you know?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you shaved your face. You look funny.
Yeah. I was looking a little too homeless, I think, so.
Is it because the guy called you a hippie on Dale's show?
No, it actually wasn't because of that. I've been meaning to do it for a while, but that was like just the trigger. I was like, yeah, it's time. I got to do it.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, will you pull up Dale Carter's America on YouTube, and we can play a little bit in the background to show people what Kurt does? He's got a show out of Kansas City, Missouri. I guess Dale Carter has been a radio personality for a long time.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of him until I met you and started watching the show, but
yeah, for like 40 plus years, something like that. So he's a legend in the game, man. So I'm just blessed to be a part of it and to get to work with him. So
it's a really good show.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate it. And I'm obsessed with like local news and stuff. So that's kind of how I stay filled in on what's happening in Kansas City.
Yeah, we definitely talk a lot about Kansas City, Jackson County type stuff. There's a lot of tax issues right now. They're trying to levy a new tax to pay for the new stadium for the Royals. So that's a big issue, and a lot of people are opposing it. It was shot down by the legislature, the Jackson County legislature, and then. Or no, shot down by the administrator. I get the terms confused. And then it was the veto was overridden, so it's going to be on the ballot again. So they're really trying to push it through. But yeah, that's some of the stuff that we talk about.
Yeah.
What was it? Del Carter.
Del Carter's America. I'll put a clip in the private chat for you, Mark, so you can find it a little easier.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the beautiful and the awful thing about local politics is you learn how awful bureaucracy totally is, because I feel like they make the shit hard to pay attention to and to figure out on purpose. Like with the bill that's being levied for the KC Royals, I remember Dell saying his contention was people should not support that bill. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's probably the same in Springfield and other places, but there's always new taxes. And it's like, this tax is going to fix the roads, and then everyone votes yes, and then the roads are not fixed. So it's just
right.
Constantly pushing, kicking the can down the road, trying to levy more taxes. And we're of the opinion, I mean, I'm not the biggest Royals fan, but certainly, I'm in the city. I care about it. I live right down the street from the stadiums, and I've been there. It's a nice stadium, and we're certainly of the opinion that there's nothing wrong with where they're at now. So like, when our city is in, tens of millions of dollars of debt already, we had a lot of big projects from the streetcar to, various other things, improvements made across the city, some good, some bad, the new airport, things like that. But, we already are in the hole quite significantly. So to try and say that we can, afford a new stadium seems a little bit rich, especially when the Royals are like the worst team in the league. That doesn't help.
I was listening to a Springfield City Council lunch yesterday, and they were talking about not allowing any more what Airbnbs to open in Springfield, and they were talking about like how in Kansas City they shut it where people can't just like open Airbnbs, and I guess it's still open in Springfield, and a guy that seems conservative was recommended shutting it. Do you know anything about that Airbnb shit in Kansas City?
No, I don't know anything about that. I mean, I know that broadly speaking, there's been kind of a little bit more competition going on between Airbnb and hotels and things like that, because now you go to an Airbnb, it's not really any cheaper than just going to a hotel room. You have to clean everything up. There's like a $400 cleaning fee or whatever they charge, so they're having a hard time.
So the Chiefs are playing tomorrow, and
that's right.
Are you excited? You're a Chiefs fan, right?
Yeah, I'm a bandwagoner. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm a fair weather.
Me too.
I got my hat right here. No, I'm a total bandwagoner, fair weather fan. I'm from Philadelphia, so.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, you're from Philly?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't realize that.
Yep. But should be a good game. I'm excited. We're going over our friend's place and just gonna eat a bunch of food and drink some beers and hang out.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Do you think that it's all rigged and they're using it to prop up Taylor Swift and influence the Swifties to elect Biden? Is that what's happening here?
Who knows, man? I mean, I don't know. I do think it's interesting, and it's not just because I'm a Chiefs fan, but I agree that like Taylor Swift is annoying and they put her on TV too much and all that. I mean, that's undeniable, I think, but it's also like, I think she maybe gets a little bit too much hate, like if you compare her to, Cardi B or some of these other artists that are out there pushing degeneracy to kids, and talking about their snatches and whatever else. I mean, it's pretty tame in comparison. Like the stuff that she sings about, the stuff that she does, she's a pretty milquetoast celebrity, so like, I don't know, maybe we have more important things to worry about, but yeah, it is annoying though. I just purely based on, you see her all the time and she's all over everywhere, but I don't really care that much.
Yeah, I tend to agree with your perspective there. Where is she annoying? Yeah. Is she probably, well, you didn't say this, but I think she's probably like some kind of witch. But like as far as popular music goes, is it that offensive to my tastes and sensibilities? No. Has she inspired like millions of little girls to play the guitar? Yeah, that's pretty cool. So
yeah. I mean, if you had a daughter, would you rather her be a fan of Taylor Swift or a fan of Megan Thee Stallion? I mean, it's
100% Taylor Swift.
there's no competition, so there's no argument there.
Well, I think, hey, Grayson says here, he says, I don't know how she dates anyone now. You can't tell me they're not worried about becoming a song. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Like Travis Kelce's got to know that his album's on its way. Like he's got to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but it's all publicity, man, for these people. I mean, any publicity is good publicity. So, even if they break up and she writes a song about him or whatever, I mean, that's just more attention for him, more money probably for him through various, pharmaceutical endorsements and other things. And
does he have that going on?
Yeah, he's all over Pfizer. He does a bunch of commercials for Pfizer. You haven't seen those?
Two shots at once.
Yeah. That's the big one that he does. It's two things at once, and he talks about getting his flu shot and his COVID shot at the same time. And this was a rumor. It's not verified, so this could be total BS. But I saw somewhere he got paid like $4 or $5 million for that Pfizer campaign.
I would hope so. If you're going to sell your soul, you better make some good dough off of it.
Yeah, either way, this guy's heart's getting broken.
Yeah. Maybe it's getting broken in two ways at once. Heyo.
Freaking that makes me think. I saw something about Shane Gillis being like the face of Bud Light now.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? You think it'll save him?
Well, yeah. Say Bud Light, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't blame the guy for taking the deal. They're clearly, doing damage control, and it's nothing against him. The same thing happened with the UFC. Apparently, they took a big deal with Bud Light. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still the butt of every joke. You go out with your friends, and you're like, "Yeah, I'll have a Yingling, and he'll have a Bud Light." Am I right? It's like, I don't think that's going away anytime soon.
Is a thing.
Yeah.
So there's like some Black History Month stuff happening in Springfield, Missouri. There was like a park board meeting where they had this thing called Freedom Class 101. That's what we were watching when we got you in here. And Mark, can you pull that back up?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah. We were just checking out her hemp garden.
Yeah. So this chick, she's growing it's like funny to me how like stereotypical this shit is, because we showed a clip before, and there's a new program in Springfield called Lights On, where the police department will have vouchers that they can give people that they pick to go to O'Reilly's and get their headlight fixed. But they had the NCAA introduce it, and it was two Black women who are literally both of them went, as single mothers, this program could be very helpful to us.
You mean the NAACP?
NAACP, that's what it is. Whatever the fuck it is.
They had some college athletes come in and
Oh, is that? Yeah. Oh,
I'm just
damn.
messing with you. Sorry.
No, fair point.
I derailed your whole thing there.
But anyways, here, play some of this, Mark.
No. Our planet is asking us right now to take stock in our soils.
The planet.
As you saw in the opening video, the road wasn't so straight. We were part of a failed co-op that asked us to send this crop into them.
Skip to 16 minutes, Mark.
Oil. That crop never made it to its destination. We were
16?
Yep.
Who do we become in the transition in the face of failure? I'm a Black girl from Missouri who moved back home. Did you know that in 1934, two Black men from Kansas City were looking for a place for Black people to have freedom because they knew that the creation of Backnell Dam that created the Lake of the Ozarks would not accept Black people at that time? Let me tell you the story.
Skip to 23.
Race and Meaning, an African-American Experience in Missouri by Dr.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
This is going to be exciting.
Wait, so pause this real quick. So I was explaining to Mark, there's one white guy on this panel, and he went to Lincoln University, which is like one of the few like historic Black colleges in Missouri, I guess. And he went as like so it's interesting because these Black women, she has like her Hemp Kings thing, and it's about like, you can see here, it's about using hemp to make bricks to like build buildings, which in and of itself is like kind of neat, honestly. I don't know how well hemp bricks hold up. I'd be curious about that. I tried to do a little research, but it doesn't seem like very many buildings have been built with hemp bricks, which I would imagine, indicates that it's not a very good building material. But anyways, you can play a little bit more of this here, Mark.
Back to that. You can make homes out of hemp. So on the left side is a wall that we built, and on the right side is an example of structures that we would like to put on the 244 acres of Lake Placid. So how are we going to do this? Well, Osai and I are natural teachers. I was a school principal. We are naturally, anywhere we go, kids find us. And so we're excited to create workforce development opportunities to teach kids how to build with hemp. Doesn't take that much, but we need it at such a large scale that everyone could learn this trade.
Go ahead and skip 24 to 2440,
Why
Mark.
is this important?
Okay.
How long is this, by the way?
Super fucking long. We're not gonna watch the whole
I know,
thing.
but I'm just like, this lady's up here talking for like an hour and a half. Like, are
Dude,
people falling
literally.
asleep at the end or what?
Just wait. There's like people sitting around eating lunch and like.
It is a reparative term for us. It is a regenerative term for us. And if you looked up what regeneration means, it's relating to something growing or being grown again. Let me say that again. Regeneration is relating to something growing or being grown again. And so I asked the question, if there are conversations happening in the month of Black History, they should be about regeneration and reparations. They should be about bringing wholeness back to properties that were already purchased by Black people 90 years ago. These properties have been here. And so why doesn't Lake Placid look like the Lake of the Ozarks? Why doesn't Lake Placid look like the retreat center that we fly out to the East or West Coast for? It's because the story was never told. That's simply the reason.
Pause.
I'm grateful to be.
Is she suggesting that Black people bought property and then it was like taken from them or something? She said it was bought by Black people 90 years ago. What does that mean?
So they get into it a little bit more later, but it's like, I guess there was, oh shit. Here, let's go back to the little passage with the book. Well, I think it was 23 minutes in. Can you scan and see when she has the book open, when she starts reading? Scan backwards, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going, keep going, keep going.
From Kansas City. The sellers were a prominent county physician and his son-in-law in Morgan County, Missouri. The buyers were Dr. P.C. Turner and J.M. Sojourner. Now, you're going to get this book so you can read the rest.
No, that wasn't very
After
helpful.
Landale
Skip
was
to 120:11.
No. You don't do that. No, you're.
That'll be the guy
hour
that.
20.
Yeah, hour 20:11. This is the guy who wrote the
An
book.
hour and a half, dude? Like,
It's crazy.
come on.
Yeah.
It's so
A
boring.
white man would have given this presentation in 12 minutes.
With bullet points.
But let me. Oh, there is. Okay.
I'll read it out.
Oh, these are questions. Damn it, go back to like 55 minutes or something. Keep going back. Keep going back.
That's a captive audience too. That's like a small enough crowd that you like have to
go back more
to be engaged and like paying attention the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Right there.
Like if it was a bigger thing in like an auditorium or something, you could probably get up and like sneak out without calling attention to yourself. You can't do that here, man. You're stuck. You're stuck
so
for
right.
an hour and a half.
You're so right. You can watch these people like fidget and try to not make eye contact, and then like look like when they need to, and like
Nod their head.
Yeah. See if you can find the video. We might have to scan back a little bit. They play like a video in a PowerPoint to introduce him, and it has like inspirational music and shit, and it's really fucking corny. Try right there.
This is in Springfield.
Yeah. This is what our city's spending its money on, is having presentations like this.
Welcome him, please.
Oh, take it back a little further. I guess they play the video in the black. Yeah. Okay. Like.
You'll learn about us. Prune. We need to water. We need to put sunlight.
Keep going. Yeah. Oh, right there.
And was throughout much of its history. It still has a critical role to play in the 21st century. It is now an open admissions university with one of the most diverse populations of students in the entire country. One that is particularly adept at handling first-generation students like I was more than 50 years ago.
Dude, that's a haircut. Let's go.
It's the place where I decided that I wanted to live in that world. The people I've talked about tonight.
So go ahead and pause this real quick.
My teachers.
I want to read some comments. The homie David Dove on Facebook says, Fergie will save us. Wouldn't count on that, buddy. But the inspirational music here is really corny and really dumb. Had you ever heard of Lincoln University, Kurt or Mark?
No,
I haven't. I mean, I'm an immigrant to Missouri, as it were.
Oh,
but
that's right. You're a Philly
But
boy.
yeah, no, I haven't heard of it.
I guess it's
Is
like,
it in Springfield?
It's not. It says it's the Black cultural mecca of Missouri. Or actually, it might be. Let's see. Lincoln University, Missouri. Where's it at? Jefferson City. So it's in the capital.
Jefferson City, the Black cultural mecca of Missouri. That's what I always say.
So go ahead and skip forward to when he's actually given his speech at this event. Maybe we can get some more details about this kind of land deal.
White folks traded medical care with the black doctors who were coming down from Kansas City. And at some point, and these people became friends. And at one point, one of these white families who traded chickens and tomatoes and produce, the wife of this guy developed gynecological problems.
Oh, this is crazy.
And her husband said, when Doc Turner comes down next Sunday, you better have him check you out. So Doc Turner came out, did an examination and said, ma'am, you need a hysterectomy. You need to be in a hospital. Where? Where are you going to go to a hospital in Morgan or Benton County? So he took her in his personal car to Kansas City, where he performed a hysterectomy on her in the Black hospital. She recovered, and the next year they had 2 adolescent daughters. And the next year, those daughters needed tonsillectomies. So again, he took them in his car. This is a time when black men are being lynched for alleged offenses against white women. He took these 2 adolescent girls in his car and performed tonsillectomies on them. And one of them developed some complications, and so he took her home with him for 2 weeks.
Pause this.
And I was ready.
Does that pass the smell test? The first time I heard that, I'm like, all of that just sounds really, really weird to me. And maybe that's just me.
I don't even think doctors remove tonsils anymore. Like, it was turned out to be, they used to think that they had no function, and they do.
What year is this that he's talking about? Do we know?
Well, it was like, he said that it was still like, there was a black hospital. So I don't know, the early 1900s, late 1800s. You know, and just the idea of like, I don't know. I'm not saying there wasn't black doctors in the 1800s. I'm sure there was, but just like, I don't know, him doing a hysterectomy on this chick, like the white chick, and then like, okay, so he takes the tonsils out of both of the daughters, and then one has complications and has to stay with them. Like, I don't know, something, when I first listened to this, it all just kind of made my skin crawl. Maybe I'm just like a terrible bigot, but I'm like, something about that just seems real, real odd.
Well, it's also just totally anecdotal. I mean, they're counting on the fact that none of us have heard this story before, and then they're telling us this story, and we're expected to believe it as it's told to us. And even if it is true, it's like, okay, so what? You know, okay, you know, you're basing, like, I don't know where he's going with this, but it happens all the time. You talk about, you know, they'll talk about Emmett Till or something like that, and then that's like their you know, their reasoning for like all of this reparation stuff or whatever. You're talking about one case that happened, you know, how 75, 80 years ago. And it's not even, that didn't even happen how we're supposed to believe it did. So it's just, you know, the anecdotes get kind of tired for me, especially, you know, it's like back in 1893, you know, all this terrible stuff happened. It's like, okay, I don't know where we're going with this, but
the whole claim to the land and everything, how they sneak in, like, they used to talk about equality, and now they sneak in the word equity, which is really them taking your stuff. It's
right.
Like they always sneak that in there. It's like, really, these are not good ideas. Like, anyone can see it.
Yeah, and I don't want to spend too much time, you know, having us just scroll through the video, but I was curious about what she was talking about when she said that they had the land they bought the land and then it was taken from them or something like that. Because
open that up, Mark. He talks about it more. Scroll maybe like 10 minutes in or something, 5 minutes in, because he does get into it. It's just, I made some notes, but I was honestly watching this last night when I was real stoned and just kind of like,
this whole thing.
Yeah, dude.
He's locked in, dude. And he's locked in.
I was. But yeah, skip forward a little bit and hit play. if you would.
He's not
a few minutes forward.
Particularly well. In fact, she has dementia. You never know what kind of responses you're going to get. So I went with them to see her. These ladies were in their 70s. Sadly, she was not communicative at all, anticipating this photograph to this elderly woman, and tears began flowing down her face.
Keep skipping.
And she kept saying over and over, "What a wonderful man. What a wonderful man." That is not the kind of race relations story you think about when you
But
think
hit pause real quick. I do want to make a comment. I feel like, people get charged of having like a white savior complex often, but I feel like this guy legitimately has it. He went to the Black university. Now he's the authority on Black history in Missouri. And then these two Black girls worship the feet that he walks on. And then he's telling a story about meeting a 90-year-old Black woman who says, "You're amazing. You're a great man. You're a great man." Like he really wants to make sure everybody knows that Black people think he's amazing. He's a great man. He's a scholar of Black history. He probably has
major squirts for this guy. Major squirts for this guy.
Yeah. All the ladies want him. Skip forward a little more. Let's see if we can find this. If not, we're going to give up on this video because I'm kind of tired of looking at this guy. Keep going.
Showing his school picture again.
Who really wanted to be a social worker. I was caught up in the Kennedy.
Keep playing from here, Mark. I'm going to grab a nicotine pouch.
Surrounding optimism and hope of creating a better world. And for some reason, I grew up thinking I was going to go to college and be a social worker. Actually, at first, I was either going to be a Catholic priest or pitch for the St. Louis Cardinals, but my fastball lost its zip and I discovered girls. Not necessarily in that order. But I went to Lincoln University because it was 30 miles from my home, and it was the most affordable institution of higher education in the state. I had never had a conversation with a Black person. I didn't know the county I grew up in a totally German Catholic homogenous community.
All right, this is enough of that. We're gonna move on.
There's a snooze fest, dude.
It is. It really is. So did you see, I want to talk about this a little bit while you're here, Kurt. Did you see Sean Strickland and Sneako boxing?
I did see that.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about this. I got this. Don't go to that clip yet. Go back. Okay. So Sneako, I don't even hate Sneako. I followed him for a while. Before he was red pilled on YouTube, I thought he was kind of like an annoying pretty boy with well-produced videos. But I generally kind of agreed with some of his takes. And then he became like an Andrew Tate acolyte, which is okay. I don't know if Andrew Tate was like, "Hey, come under my wing, little fella. I'm going to make you famous." I might have done it. So I don't know. But this is a clip of him talking shit on one of the best one of the best jiu-jitsu players in the world. I forget how to pronounce his name, but he's like on the spectrum. He's like younger than I am, I think, or my age. He's been doing jiu-jitsu since he was 4. He ties Sneako in a pretzel and ruin his life. And literally, I'd never seen this guy mad until Sneako started teasing him. But you can go ahead and play this clip, Mark.
Is somebody that inspires another generation, and then they're doing the positions that you created.
Like, how is there a combat sport where these people, like, they look like the Soul Boy collage? How are they winning combat sport competitions? What the?
So today I'm going to talk about bullies.
This
bullies
was his
are weak
response.
People that make fun of others around them, that give themselves relevance, and they make themselves feel good. They pick on the differences of humans, which is the most beautiful part of humans, their uniqueness. I really don't like bullies, guys. And there's this guy named Sneako making fun of me, making fun of my friend, making fun of jiu-jitsu. Calls himself a boxer. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. Let's have an MMA fight. I challenge Sneako to an MMA fight. I'm going to shut his mouth, and I'm going to take the bully's lunch money.
Let's go.
So, unfortunately, he didn't get to shut his mouth, but Sean Strickland did. So go ahead and go to this clip. And what I really like about this is the whole match. Sneako, actually looks pretty good. Like, his form doesn't look bad. Some of the striking's good, but the size difference is crazy.
His legs look like my legs.
His legs look like my pinky. But
skinny as shit. Yeah. I'm working on that, by the way, hopefully.
Dude, Since I started doing jujitsu, my inner thighs get so freaking sore. Like my chicken legs don't know what's happening with all that. But so what I love about this is Sean just lets him hit him for like the first couple minutes and just talk shit. So go ahead and play the clip. Or you'll have to skip like 2 minutes in, I think.
Sparring session today. Strickland.
He just lets him hit it.
Dude, the whole time, pretty much.
It gets worse too because Sean starts saying, "I know in your head, you know you can't hurt me, and you know that I'm about to beat the shit out of you." Basically,
he's such a super villain. I love it.
Yeah. So how did this come about? Because I saw the video and I've seen this, but how did this?
I'm not sure. Let me look at Sneako's Twitter and see if he was talking shit or what. I don't watch his streams, so.
Yeah, me neither. I've seen him on a couple other things, but I've never really been into the guy. But I was gonna comment on that autistic jiu-jitsu kid too, because he is like very bullyable. You know what I mean? And you can tell that he was just like had enough, and he's like, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of all these guys,
Dude, and it's
like kind of awesome.
He could. He's like a champion in his weight division.
Yeah,
he's one of the most accomplished jiu-jitsu like athletes of all time in his young age. Like, I mean, he would fucking destroy Sneako.
But as you're realizing, you're about to have a really bad.
Can you turn the volume up on the video? I don't know if it's just my on my end or not.
Will you pull it back like 15 seconds too? What he just said there is important.
But as you're realizing, you're about to have a really bad fucking day.
He's
just wearing himself out. It's bad.
Like, why would you do this?
It looks like me playing with my nephew.
Yeah. He's just like.
Yeah, he's like pawing.
Yeah.
Like a little kitty cat.
No way, it's coming. You're a very tough influencer.
You're a very tough influencer.
You're about to get hurt.
Where are we at? Let me see the time bar.
Halfway.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Okay, skip almost a minute in. More.
Yeah, it's really just like that.
Wait, go back.
Yeah. Right about.
Back.
Yeah.
What time we at? 2 minutes. I want to enjoy this a little bit longer. Let that right hand go. There you go.
Oh shit! Oh god!
He's throwing the towel.
Dude.
Oh man.
I think he deserves this though.
Yeah, he does.
Right here. That's where they had to call it, because he was just backing up and just, I mean, getting railed to his face.
Fall down, Sneako. You didn't fall down.
Okay, you can close that, Mark. Oh man,
I mean, dude has balls for doing that. I'm like, what kind of idiot would want to spar against this guy, But
right, I guess he's just looking for viral moments. I wonder if there is part of him that like thought, my striking's pretty good. Maybe if I do this right, I could, hit his button. And
I sure hope that he did not legitimately think that, because that's really stupid.
It is Sneako. It's hard to tell, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, fucking getting in the ring with Strickland is insane. Did you watch the Putin Tucker Carlson?
Oh yeah, the whole thing.
Shit, me too. We're gonna get into that. I won't drag you into that with us though, because it's gonna be kind of a long segment, I think. But
well, I'm here. Let's do it. I don't care.
All right. Hell yeah. Let's get into it. What before we get into it, what did you kind of what was your takeaway when you finished it?
My takeaway really was that both Putin and Tucker are very formidable men at like the top of their game. Tucker is the best interviewer in America, the best, most prominent, person in the media at this point, I would say. And Putin is the most formidable world leader, arguably in the world. And he's very sharp. He had all kinds of knowledge, about his country's history, that he was just able to pull up out of thin air from memory and really make his case in a way that was, very, very well thought out, from his perspective. And I think he knew exactly the opportunity that he had. He was like, this is going to have millions, hundreds of millions of views. It's going to be broadcast to an American audience on social media. This is my chance to, connect with the American people, basically. And I think he had a game plan and he executed it to perfection. Whether you agree with him or not is a different story. But I mean, he really knew what he was doing.
I agree. I totally agree. So we'll get into it a little bit. Thank you for the synopsis. That was great.
Vladimir Putin.
Can you guys hear this?
Shot February 6, 2024 at about 7 p.m. in the building behind us, which is, of course, the Kremlin. The interview, as you will see if you watch it, is primarily about the war in progress, the war in Ukraine, how it started, what's happening, and most pressingly, how it might end. One note before you watch.
Most people have probably seen this part. It's Tucker explaining how Putin, his contention is that it's genuine Putin explaining history at the beginning of the interview, because he goes on for like 45 minutes about the history of Russia, which is impressive. And I didn't realize, I'm not familiar with the history of Russia, and I didn't realize it was so freaking old, because he's talking about, he starts in the 8th century. So, I mean, it's like so many centuries older than the United States. Yet we got like our fingers in their business. And it sounds like this is a beef that goes back for like hundreds of years.
And another thing too that he did, not to jump the gun on the segment, but
oh please,
I think I wouldn't compare him to Trump per se, but he has a characteristic that Trump also has, which is he plows ahead. Like there was times during that whole 45-minute history lesson that he was giving where Tucker was like, okay, like, but how is this relevant? Let's move it along. And he was just like, no, like, I'm going to finish. You know what I mean? He just plowed forward, and like, he would not be dissuaded. And obviously Trump has that same characteristic too. He's not going to let you, control what he's going to talk about. If there's something he wants to ramble about, he's going to ramble.
Absolutely. And I think there's a good example of that right at the beginning of the interview, kind of when they introduce themselves, the way that you can kind of see that Putin's like good at being in control and kind of setting the tone for things.
Whether you agree with it or not, Vladimir Putin believes that Russia has a historic claim to parts of Western Ukraine. So our opinion would be to view it in that light, as a sincere expression of what he thinks. And with that, here it is. Mr. President, thank you. On February 22nd, 2022, you addressed your country in a nationwide address when the conflict in Ukraine started. And you said that you were acting because you had come to the conclusion that the United States, through NATO, might initiate a, quote, surprise attack on our country. And to American ears, that sounds paranoid. Tell us why you believe the United States might strike Russia out of the blue. How did you conclude that?
It's not that America, the United States, was going to launch a surprise strike on Russia. I didn't say that. Are we having a talk show or a serious conversation?
That right there is very It's like a little elf. But that is totally like something Trump would do.
And he refers back to it too, because when Tucker tries to move him along, he's like, well, you said that we're having a serious conversation, so I'm going to talk about it, But
right, he like indicates that if it was a talk show, he could have done like a funny, more light version.
Right. There was some pretty funny memes that came out of that whole like segment of Putin you know, given the history lesson. One of my favorites was, I'm just going to read this tweet from Michael Knowles. He says, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" And then the response is, "To understand the chicken, to understand the road, one must recall the Burmese domestication of the red jungle fowl in 6000 BC. Then within 2 millennia, the appearance of roads in Mesopotamia." That is Babylon, of course, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and literally. I mean, he hit the nail on the head with that. And with the history part, I'm gonna scan through it because I think most of my viewers will probably have watched the first little part of this, but I want to really focus on the stuff in the tail end because I think a lot of people maybe, you know, that are casually watching this maybe didn't make it very far. So,
Итак, значит, советская Украина получила.
The Soviet Union was given a great deal of territory that had never belonged to it, including the Black Sea region.
Когда Россия их получила в результате.
At some point, when Russia received them as an outcome of the Russo-Turkish Wars, they were called New Russia or Novorossiya. But that does not matter. What matters is that Lenin, the founder of the Soviet state, established Ukraine that way. For decades, the Ukrainians.
So he's talking about how Ukraine was part of Russia way back in the day and kind of like the founding of everything. If you guys want to jump in with something before I play the next clip, you can.
I mean, I just thought it was interesting when I was watching this. I was just thinking, like, it's been years since we've even heard from Putin because of the war, and then to hear him in this way was just insane. To get a huge history lesson, because Zelensky, you've never heard anything like this from Zelensky. You haven't heard anything about the conflict or why it started, how we got here. Zelensky's just like, send me more money and get on with it. And then he goes off camera and you don't see about him or hear about him. It's like Putin kind of wants to get the word out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very good point. And also just the nature of the interview too. Like it's a 2-hour long, from as far as I can tell, like unedited conversation, you know. And even I would imagine certainly with Zelensky and probably the interviews that Putin has done in the past, it's on network TV. They have to cram it into like a 5 or 10 minute segment. So they take an hour or an hour and a half, and then they pick out these little 30-second clips to put on TV. You're not really getting the full context, you know. So
yeah,
to have
the clips I've seen were just him mentioning like conspiracy theories or so. You know, it's like they clip out that one little thing,
right,
where it just makes it sound like a right-wing puff piece or something.
Right.
I can remember. I feel like Russian people are very well educated. I remember when we traded that basketball player for that weapon guy. You know what I'm talking about? Brittany Griner.
The Merchant of Death.
For the Merchant of Death?
The
yes.
lesbian pothead basketball player.
Yes. And the Merchant of Death went on Russian TV and they translated it into English, and he was doing an interview and he was very poised in the discussion, and he was talking about orthodoxy and why the West is fallen and why we don't believe in Christianity anymore. And it's just like, you know, like he doesn't sound like the Merchant of Death. He sounds like a good Orthodox preacher, which is maybe, you know, they put that in English, so maybe that's propaganda for somebody like me. But it was like, you know, listening to him talk, I'm just like, wow, this guy is educated. And you know, I think everybody's seen the memes at this point, but like Putin talking at length about the history of Russia, while Joe Biden, you know, can't even enter a podium in the right direction or exit a podium in the right direction. You know, I if you asked him when, like, what was the founding year of America, I'm not convinced he could pull it out of his hat in an instant. Right. You know, let alone give an in-depth, detailed description of American history involving all the key players and the documents. Like, it wouldn't happen from our leadership, but you know, Russia's got it.
Did you know the White House already deleted the press conference he did from the internet like for a couple of days ago because there were so many gaffes? He talks about Israel and Gaza and says that he talked to the president of Mexico about it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's just like the White House can't handle it.
The thing that stuck out to me was like he didn't get charged for having secret documents because he's old and senile, but yet he gets to remain the president. So being old and senile is enough to not go to jail because you're old and whatever. But like, But you're allowed to be the president if you're old and senile, apparently.
Right. And of course, he's going to come out and say, "Well, no, I'm not old and senile. I know exactly what's going on. I have my wits about me." So it's like, okay, so then you're incriminating yourself. So you can go to prison then. Is that what you're saying? But
right. I didn't even think about that.
Everyone in the White House is saying he's sharper than ever. He can understand everything. And then his own defense when he's asked by Peter Ducey is, "I've got such a bad memory, I called on you again."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like his own defense is that his memory is bad.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that to me is, it really puts things into perspective when people shit on like Putin or Russia. You know, they talk about Russian propaganda and things like that. I mean, we have it worse here. I mean, by every metric imaginable. You know, the amount of propaganda here is just off the charts. And you know, to pretend like this guy Biden has any clue what's going on. And then they have the nerve to, you know, Trump makes a gaffe and says Nancy Pelosi instead of Nikki Haley. And every major media outlet is coming out saying, is he fit to be president? Is he mentally fit to be president? He has dementia. He's too old. It's like, are you serious? Like, are you really bringing this up right now?
And the entire mainstream media just admitted that Nancy Pelosi was the one in charge of security on January 6th. It's like, can you not see the play here?
Yeah,
they would do it all the time with his tweets where there would be one word wrong in the tweet, and he would get mainstream media to show the tweet all day long because they'd be making fun of the word he misspelled.
Yeah, Kofefe.
Yes.
Okay, let's watch some more of this because we'll be here all night.
We got a reply. We have the answer in the archive. The CIA replied, "We have been working with the opposition in Russia. We believe that this is the right thing to do, and we will keep on doing it."
I think he talks about George Bush here in a second, so I want to play this one out a bit.
Okay. We realized that it was out of the question.
Forces in opposition to you. So you're saying the CIA is trying to overthrow your government?
Ну, конечно, имелось в виду в данном случае.
Of course, they meant in that particular case the separatists, the terrorists who fought with us in the Caucasus. That's who they called the opposition.
Это вот второй момент.
This is the second point.
Важный.
Separatists, the terrorists who fought with us in the cover.
Отец Буша
After was invited by Bush Jr.'s father, Bush Sr., to visit his place on the ocean,
Там состоялась очень серьезная беседа,
I had a very serious conversation with President Bush and his team.
чтобы
I proposed that the United States, Russia, and Europe jointly create a missile defense system that, we believe, if created unilaterally, threatens our security, despite the fact that the United States officially said that it was being created against missile threats from Iran. That was the justification for the deployment of the missile defense system. I suggested working together, Russia, the United States, and Europe. They said it was very interesting. They asked me, "Are you serious?"
So this is all very strange, and it makes me think of some of these, like this image. I don't know if you guys have seen this image. I'm going to share. Oh, okay, here. I'll just do this real quick so I can show you guys. I'm sure you guys have seen this, but these really bizarre images of Bush and Vladimir Putin. And like, I think it was like was it the Chinese president or something? But
probably
they have
at the time.
They have the garb on and everything. It's just, it looks like they're having a lot of fun. Like, look at Bush's face.
I feel like there's no upside to that. I mean, you're kind of yeah. I mean, like just wear a suit, man. You know, don't do that.
They look like they're good pals. Look, where are they here? What the fuck? They're just playing dress up all over the world with each other. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna have like a George W. Bush little Ken doll that you can like dress up in, like, you know,
has the Chinese garb, has the poncho from Mexico.
Yeah, like a dashiki. You could put a dashiki on him, a sombrero. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I'm not president, and I never would want to be president. But if I was, I would not do that. Just wear a suit, man. Just wear a suit, put the American flag on it. They can't tell you what to do. You're the president, you know, just wear a suit.
That's right. You know, it gives me the same energy as Trudeau visiting India. Do you remember that? I'm gonna pull that up real quick because that's just like because he's like doing like poses and stuff too. Like it's oh my gosh. Yeah, here let me share this real quick. This shit.
Well, to be honest, now that I think about it, I don't think Trump ever did that. I can't think of
Oh, hey, wait! I gotta sound the alarm. I can't.
How you doing, fellow Indians?
Mark, Mark, can you probably don't know how to sound the gay alarm, do you?
I don't.
That's a shame.
Hello, my fellow Pajits. I also enjoy curry and spicy food. And eating with my fingers.
Red
yes,
alert.
thank you.
Red alert. There's a gay guy. Gay guy alert. Gay guy alert. Red alert. Gay guy alert.
This happens every episode.
Okay.
Nice.
Hey, where'd my background go? Boom.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think I can't think of Trump ever doing that. He did put the yarmulke on and go to the Wailing Wall. A lot of people gave him shit for that, but I can't think of yeah. I can't think of a time of him like dressing up in some garb or something like that. There was the one time where he was with what's his name? The Japanese president, the one that died recently. And they were at the koi pond and the guy's like sprinkling the feed into the koi pond and Trump just like dumps the whole
Hey, I did find one of Trump in traditional garb. Just
really? Let's see it.
He looks really goofy.
Yeah, but see, I mean, that's not too bad though. I mean, it's
look at this one.
Yeah, that's also not too bad. I mean, that's a fancy Western tuxedo, you know. Yeah, it's Western. He's in a tuxedo, you know.
He's not like wearing a fucking.
Yeah, look at that. He's in a suit. I mean, and then the China one or wherever that was, it's kind of subtle, you know. It's like an oversized dress shirt or something like that, you know. But
did you ever see him wear this? I saw a clip. I wonder if I can find it real quick. Trump touches Middle Eastern leader. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
Yeah, I have seen this. Yeah.
But I
probably
guess
on Twitter would be better.
Yeah, I probably can't find
it's like he's walking past the guy. It's like you're not supposed to touch him. And he's like walking past him and he pats him on the back or something like that.
And he like turns around and like looks like he hasn't ever been touched, you know? I didn't mention at the front of this episode, but our producer Leighton couldn't make it in tonight. So he would typically kind of help with that.
So that's why it sucks so bad.
That's it. Yeah. We're winging it. No, you said it. It would suck if you weren't here, buddy. We're happy to have you.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, Mark, so I just pay. So Mark has never had admin permission before, so he doesn't really know how to produce the show. That's Leighton's jobs, and he just got the admin stuff. So I thought he'd be able to learn and mess with it a little bit tonight. But you know, he's had to like kind of take on like full production duty, which is
right on, man. Yeah, it's not easy.
He was not expecting to do that. Now I'm messing it up because I'm trying to talk and do it at the same time.
Well, I still got some stuff. We got the James O'Keefe video.
Yeah, there's a couple more things in this video I want to get to.
Plane crash in Russia. Why'd you want to talk about a plane crash?
Well, I wanted to mention the plane crash in Russia because go ahead and pull that up and share it, Mark. Because this is one of Putin's enemies, and his plane mysteriously crashed when he was leaving Russia. So to go to Russia and interview the president of Russia, you got to have balls of steel. You know? And he conducts the interview in such a manner where he's challenging Putin for most of the interview and not conceding.
Yeah, at the end, he straight up asks him to his face to release a prisoner and let him go back with Tucker's team. And then he basically says no, and then Tucker is like, pushes it. He's like, well, you know, he's just a kid, you know, he's not some secret spy, like you should do this, you know, and he pushes him even further on it, which is pretty ballsy.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We can go ahead and read that top blurb there on Google.
The crash prompted speculation that the jet was destroyed on orders of Russian President Vladimir Putin after Prigozhin had led the Wagner Group rebellion exactly 2 months prior.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was not very long ago. So I think it's just a testament to how brave and how good of a journalist Tucker Carlson really is.
But I mean, also that is for sure 100% true. But I think also he kind of understood that Putin knows that it's going to be a fair interview. You know what I mean? Like Putin knows all about Tucker, and he knows that he's not going to, try and like pull some fast shit on him or, whatever to where he would have to kill him or something like that, So like, I think there was probably some communication beforehand in terms of how they were going to set it up and, where they were going to meet and all that kind of stuff. And, for Putin to take the interview, I think Tucker probably felt pretty safe at that point because, I mean, you think about it, like what's Putin going to do? He's going to kill like the most popular journalist in America. That's not good for him. That's not going to help his case at all. Why would he do that? So I don't know. I think Tucker's influence and his reputation sort of protected him in that sense.
Good points. Yeah. I hadn't really considered that so much. I also just want to say while we're here, we have a few viewers on the stream. I don't know where you guys are watching from. I can't see all the comments on the software. I'm flipping back and forth between Facebook. But if you're watching, go ahead and leave us a comment where you're watching from, so I can figure out what streams I need to be monitoring here. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Let's get a little deeper into this here and then move on because we do have a few other topics I want to get to today. So he does. This is something we could talk about a little bit before we get into it because me and Mark were talking about it before the show where I kind of said, he's like conceding to the left, trying to like call Ukrainians Nazis, and that's why they're the bad guys. But Mark came back and was like, well, the Ukrainians really are neo-Nazis. It's kind of a fair point to make.
Yeah, the Azov battalion. I mean, their whole history. It's just like he mentions it in the interview because he calls out Canada, which he just mentions the perfect thing because the media completely ignored it, but the Canadian government invited the guy who fought with the SS or whatever, World War II, and it's just like Putin points it out. It's like, who was he fighting against? He was fighting with Hitler against us. It's like,
yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what this next clip is here.
Question about neo-Nazism and denazification. Look, the president of Ukraine visited Canada. The story is well known, but being silenced in the Western countries. The Canadian Parliament introduced a man who, as the Speaker of the Parliament said, fought against the Russians during the World War II. Well, who fought against the Russians during the World War II? Hitler and his accomplices. It turned out that this man served in the SS troops. He personally killed Russians, Poles, and Jews. The SS troops consisted of Ukrainian nationalists who did this dirty work. The president of Ukraine stood up with the entire Parliament of Canada and applauded this man. How can this be imagined? The president of Ukraine himself, by the way, is a Jew by nationality.
Okay, so is that not insane in context? So Zelensky is a Jew, which is the leader of like a neo-Nazi country. Like, are we buying all this?
I mean, it's not the whole country. It's just parts of their military.
Yeah. My understanding of this is very minimal, but it seems to be certain parts of the military, like Mark said. But I do wonder how significant of a role it actually does play in Ukraine. And I'd be the last person to defend Ukraine, trust me. But it is sort of politically advantageous and convenient for Putin to lean into the Nazi angle because you have the Western powers defending Ukraine with money and arms and all this stuff, and there is, you know, whatever, however significant it is, there is this Nazi element within the Ukraine. So it's advantageous for Putin to be like, well, you guys, you know, you scream about neo-Nazis in your country all the time, but, you know, this is like a Nazi country. So he could be playing it up too in order to sort of call out the double standard or you know, try and sway public opinion. So there, it is sort of convenient. It's a convenient thing for him that this exists, that he can like kind of hammer in on it harder than maybe it actually is. You know what I mean? And I don't know that to be the case, but it would be smart for him to do that.
That's a good analysis, and my intuition was that he was kind of hamming it up. But
Yeah.
I think the only like kind of downside to that is I don't know if leftists or people who dislike Tucker Carlson or I don't think I don't know if they're watching this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably not.
So, but he really harps on the Nazi thing a lot, and I think that is the kind of the idea, because you know there is the Azov battalion, and then half of our country is like punching Nazi, anti-fascist. Not really half the country, but you know what I mean. The others, the Democrats, and so I think he is kind of counting on that a little bit.
And you'll see the media do the opposite too. They have written articles about Azov and these other factions within Ukraine where they downplay it. They're like, oh, you know, it was disbanded, or they're not Nazis anymore, or you know, that part of it is no longer a thing. So who knows where the truth is, you know, in terms of you know, the Nazi thing. I mean, it seems like we as Americans have really no clue what's going on over there. So
right. All I know is so I did my taxes today. I went to Walmart. I went to the Jackson Hewitt. I had a lady do it for me because I'm just not that.
They do taxes at Walmart now?
Yeah. Yeah, they have during tax season, they'll have Jackson Hewitt come in and set up booths, and you can go in and have them do your taxes. It costs like
dude, that is the most Springfield, Missouri thing I've ever heard. Your taxes at Walmart, bro.
Yeah, I do. I did. So I rode my little Harley Davidson e-bike to the Walmart,
I would get a rotisserie chicken and just eat it in front of her while she's doing your taxes.
Well, dude, I was so nervous because so last year was the first year that I made like an adult's income and broke $20,000, and every year before that there wasn't more than $20,000 on the books. So you're in when you make less than $20,000 a year, you're in like this like poor as hell tax bracket where the government feels bad for you. So you get a $1,000 refund just automatically. So last year I got out of that tax bracket, so I had to pay in like $200, which is nothing, but I was broke at the time, and I was like walking home yelling, like I was so mad that the tax man finally came and got me. And yo, Leighton,
what up?
Welcome to the show. Kurt, this is our producer, Leighton, Kurt.
Hello.
Leighton's a Zoomer. He likes to doom scroll, and we're actually trying to raise money because he's a young man. He's a young man, so we're trying to raise money to send Leighton to conversion therapy. So if anybody's watching this stream, if you'll just go to the GoFundMe to send Leighton to conversion therapy, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Needs some electroshock.
But,
I would pile on, but I just met the guy, so I don't want to shit on him too much.
That'll change. Anyway, so this year I was super fucking nervous sitting there and waiting to get the news back. Fortunately, I got some money back this year, which is good because when I was in Tennessee working, I was making great money, and I paid thousands of dollars into the government, and I didn't get all of that back. And you just think about what they do with our taxes, you know, like I wish I could have a say on where my taxes go. Where are our taxes going? To house illegal immigrants in the United States, to fund the war with Israel and Palestine, to fund Ukraine fighting Russia with something that has nothing to do with us. Like, man, it's just, you know, they take money on everything you buy. They take taxes on everything you make. Like, and I wouldn't be so pissed about the taxes if like they were doing something with it that I appreciated.
Right. Like gay conversion therapy for Leighton.
Exactly. Now I'd pay in happily for that.
We're raising $20,000.
I guess I just assumed that it was gay conversion therapy. You just said conversion therapy.
It is gay conversion.
You didn't
therapy.
say anything about gay. I just assumed that part.
Leighton, do you want to tell Kurt and the viewers why you were late to the stream tonight?
I was on a date. I was doing Valentine's Day stuff. So
Valentine's.
Sorry.
With a guy or?
Yeah, with a guy.
Warning. You are the gay guy. This is the gay guy right here. Warning.
I like how long that is. I like it. Just stop and just let it go. You know,
we do it like every episode. It's really funny.
It happens a lot.
Well, that's the show for tonight.
It's the joke that never dies.
So once we get so there's a couple more clips. So I think this is the one. I hope this is the one where he's talking about the CIA. Let's see.
This could devolve or evolve into something that brings the entire world into conflict and could initiate a nuclear launch. And so why don't you just call Biden and say, let's work this out?
What's there to work out? It's very simple. I repeat, we have contacts through various agencies. I will tell you what we are saying on this matter and what we are conveying to the U.S. leadership. If you really want to stop fighting, you need to stop supplying weapons. It will be over within a few weeks. That's it. And then we can agree on some terms.
You know, and like just talking about the taxes and everything at this rate, I don't have any stake in any of this. And, you know, I'm not like a big Putin fan or anything, but let him fucking have it. I don't care. Like, you know, what is it? Is Ukraine, if somebody comes and invades us, are they sending us money? No, it has nothing to do with us. And it makes me think of a clip. We watched some Andrew Callahan coverage of the border. He went there and they were talking to this dual citizenship guy at the border. And he was saying, you know, we need to take care of these people who are sick and hungry and don't have opportunities. And all I could think is, no, we don't, because we have we have sick and hungry people. We have problems in our own country, and you know, we're not like if the standard is we have to baby everybody who's sick, we got to take in people from India, Africa, like we got to take and. Literally, that's how we cause more problems is by going out and trying to be the world police and fix shit. Like, if we could just take care of ourselves, it would actually positively influence everybody else better than if we try to, like, just take in everybody's fucked up populace and, like, give them a chance in the United States.
The whole thing,
the U.S. is... Sorry, go ahead.
The whole thing about this interview is that, like, it terrifies me. Because Putin is able to sit in an interview, be coherent, and speak like about 30 to 40 minutes about his entire history of his country, the reason why he's in conflict, give concise reasons why this war is going on. And our fucking president can't do that. It's just fucking terrifying. Like, I mean, if we went to war with Russia, we would all be dead. Easily.
Well, yeah, I made that point before you got in the stream, butt munch.
I've been watching the stream on my way home.
Oh, nice. Well,
lady.
Well, here's the thing. I think that, like, okay, so Russia's a superpower. We wouldn't just go to war with Russia. Like, it would have to be like a World War III scenario where we keep pushing this thing. Russia would ally with like North Korea, like they have already. They had like a little ceremony. Did you see that?
And he talks about it.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
What were you saying, Mark?
And he talks about being allies with China. It's like really what I think is that these Middle Eastern countries that are pissed off at Israel and pissed off at us will probably line up with China and Russia together. And he says he has no choice but to be allies with China. Like half of their border is half their border.
Half of their border. Oh. So let's bulldoze through this. So there's another clip at 108. I hope this is the CIA thing because I think it's worth showing.
In Poland, Latvia, or anywhere else. Why would we do that? We simply don't have any interest. It's just threat mongering.
Well, the argument, I know you know this, is that, well, he invaded Ukraine. He has territorial aims across the continent. And you're saying unequivocally you don't.
Это абсолютно исключено.
Absolutely.
It is absolutely out of the question.
Can we agree that that was a long pause?
No,
Like,
it's
a little too long.
He was contemplating.
He was.
He was scheming.
Seemed a little schemy. Seemed a little.
I don't know,
schemy.
man. I believe him though when he says that. Personally, you know, I mean, he, in his mind, he's just trying to take back what is rightfully his, and the encroachment from NATO has forced on his hand. You know, forced his hand. That's how he views it. You know, everyone freaking out that, you know, Putin's the new Hitler who's going to roll through Poland and roll through Europe and take over everything. There's no basis for that. It's just pure speculation, pure fear mongering. It's stupid. You know, he's not that guy. And I think he made that pretty clear, you know, and we should be talking to them. You know, I mean, if we're not, even if we're not allied with them, we should be, you know, trying to come up with a solution, and we're just not. So
Agreed. Yeah.
Long story short of the whole interview is that basically it seems like the whole time Putin was the one searching for peace, while there was encroachment from NATO and now the war with Ukraine. It's like,
and it's true. Really? And it's true. NATO's fucking like rolling up on his shit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, would we not do the same thing? You know, if all of Central and South America formed like an alliance against us, and then they started moving up closer to the southern border, and they're like,
can you imagine?
They have troops on the southern border, and they're like, yeah, fuck you. Then wouldn't we be like, no, fuck you, you know, and like start like bombing their shit or something? Of course we would.
Absolutely. Dude, like we would be there. Like the boys would like grab our rifles, would be headed that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
So two more clips and we're gonna move on here, and I'm gonna let Leighton get back to being the producer because I don't like doing it.
What do we get?
This is a provocation and a
Whoopsie.
why American soldiers should fight in Ukraine.
Me neither.
There are mercenaries from the United States there. The bigger number of mercenaries comes from Poland, with mercenaries from the United States in second place and mercenaries from Georgia in third place. Well, if somebody has the desire to send regular troops, that would certainly bring humanity to the brink of very serious global conflict.
It's interesting the places that are sending mercenaries. Like it kind of gives you a picture of what countries have like strong operators or like, you know, contractors, or because that's a big industry in the United States. Like I know one guy that was in the FBI in particular that was involved in Waco and Ruby Ridge. He's got a book actually called Point Zero. His name's Chris Whitcomb, but he plays music and I've jammed with him and stuff. But he's you know, when he retired, he got into contracting and like kept going overseas. Like these guys, once they're operators, they can just go and work independently over there, which is super fucking bizarre.
Yeah, it must be an interesting life, man. You know?
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna try to get him on the show sometime. He probably won't do it. He's done some like really big podcasts, but he is a fascinating guy. And you know, I was obsessed with like Waco and Ruby Ridge before I met him, and then kind of getting like the official narrative from him was interesting. But we'll see about that. So this is him talking about dominance. I would love to let Mark talk to him a little bit. I think that would be really interesting. Let's see here.
Level, even if someone aspires, pardon me, to the level of dominance, you have to make the right decisions in a competent and timely manner. Such brutal actions, including with regard to Russia and, say, other countries, are counterproductive. This is an obvious fact. It has already become evident. You just asked me if another leader comes and changes something. It is not about the leader. It is not about the personality of a particular person. I had a very good relationship with, say, Bush. I know that in the United States,
they were homies.
He was portrayed as some kind of a country boy who does not understand much. I assure you
That's kind
that
of Brokeback
this is
Mountain
not the
right there.
case. I think he made a lot of mistakes with regard to Russia too. I told you about 2008 and the decision.
I wonder
in
how you
Bucharest
say
to open-
I can't quit you in Russian.
I can't quit you in Russian.
Something like that.
Here, I'm a copy.
Was that it?
No.
Okay, this is the. Wait, you have something pulled up, Leighton? Do you have it?
I have the pronunciation for I can't quit you in Russian.
Yeah, I want to hear it. Oh shit! Wait, there you are.
There we go. Let me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get it. Yeah. Fuck. I'm so underprepared. There we go.
Oh, well, say it.
I can't speak. I don't know how to speak Russian.
We need Google to say
That
it.
wasn't it.
Yeah.
There we are. Google.
Я не могу бросить тебя.
That's
Okay. Glad we did that.
Джордж, я люблю тебя.
Okay, so this will be the last clip from this. I hope it's
such
good.
personal relationship with Trump as well.
Him and Trump did have a really good relationship.
About the elite's mindset.
Rapid fire, couple of clips.
If the idea of domination at any cost, based also on forceful actions, dominates the American society, nothing will change. It will. Everything has to be done in calm manner.
I wonder if that's true with the war, though. Also, I mean, I guess I want to ask one more question, which is, and maybe you don't want to say so for strategic reasons, but are you worried that what's happening in Ukraine could lead to something much larger and much more horrible? And how motivated are you just to call the U.S. government and say, let's come to terms?
He's flabbergasted here.
Послушайте, я же сказал.
I already said that we did not refuse to talk. We're willing to negotiate. It is the Western side, and Ukraine is obviously a satellite state of the US. It is evident. I do not want you to take it as if I'm looking for a strong word or an insult, but we both understand what is happening.
Yep. Yep.
Facts.
Huh?
I said facts.
I'm Putin pilled, guys. I'm Putin pilled.
Hey, let's play that Soy Jack Tucker Carlson clip.
We cannot play that Soy Jack Tucker Carlson.
Kurt, I'll have to send you that later. He found this shit on the internet that I couldn't believe. But
I'll send it in the group chat.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
I already have it on my computer.
Oh, you did? Okay, hey, don't worry about that right now, Leighton. Go ahead and pull up the James O'Keefe clip.
O'Keefe.
I might have to. I'll reshare it in the private chat because I guess you probably can't see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna run and fill up my beverage real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
Right here. Let me play it. Right here.
Oh, okay.
You ready?
Well, here let's kill a little time because I want Kurt to see this. What's
So
going
there's
on?
I got up to some silly shenanigans on Facebook recently.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah. Let me see. Do we want to talk about that right
Yeah,
now?
yeah, I want to talk about it.
So there's a sign in Springfield, and I noticed it about a month back, but it says ceasefire on it. And I thought, it'd be a funny little advertisement ploy to like call it cheese fire and like go on Facebook and say, why does this sign say cheese fire? What's a cheese fire? And everyone got so fucking heated. This post got like 300 comments on it. Just people yelling at me. We were taking bets on him dirty deleting this dumb shit. And then, you know, you got all the Palestine flag fucking profile picture people and they're being like, no, actually, we need to get Brad in here and get him to delete this post because I think this falls under politics. The post was up for like 2 days, which is good. And I decided
a lot of interactions.
Yeah, it was a lot. There's so much to sift through. But then someone went to Springfield the morning after and changed the sign to Poopy Fire, which is really funny. I went there today and I changed it to Cheese Fire.
Yes.
But someone tried, like, it looks so fucking awful. I did a better.
Yours looks great.
I did better than the back Texas and the Save Gaza guys. So Cheese Fire. The post got deleted after I called someone sugar tits. It was either the sugar tits thing or it was me openly stating, oh yeah, by the way, guys, this is all an advertising ploy to just get you guys to watch my YouTube video.
Yeah. So long story short, Leighton is banned from What the Fuck Springfield Facebook group.
#1 most wanted by the What the Fuck Springfield. It's a stupid fucking site though. Like everyone on there's a mega loser.
Yeah, they delete my post as soon as I put shit in there now too. I can't even use it anymore. Fucking lefties.
It was fun to mess with them. It was a fun
You get one. Mine was the Pride video. Yours was Cheese Fire.
Which is like the most stupidest fucking thing to get mad at, you know. Like what is it? Yeah, there's this one girl and she's like fat. And she posts like horror pics on Facebook, which like don't you like family and friends follow you or something? Like that's a little weird, but I think anybody that posts horror pics on the internet are a bunch of losers. But nonetheless, she posts horror pics and her Facebook says, what did it say? It said hashtag, sorry, I'm reading the private chat. It said hashtag my body, my choice. Which is like, you know, that's kind of a, yeah, no shit. You would say that.
She's probably fun to hang out with. Hey, Leighton, go ahead and pull up that OMG Media Group video.
OMG Media Group.
Or Mark, you got it. Mark's got it pulled up. So unshare your shit there. So okay. And then we'll add Mark. All right, go ahead, Mark.
You got it.
Yeah.
I don't want him asking me. I'm a citizen.
Standing in front of the Ramada Inn Tucson Airport, a police officer told us to mind our own business.
What is this, a migrant place? What is it?
None of your business. Get going.
We see migrants, illegal immigrants standing in the rooms and told us not to go in.
What is this business over here?
It doesn't matter. You gotta go because the Pima County is coming with the sheriff.
What?
We're going in anyway.
They're supposed to have a sponsor. That means that they lied to be here in the first place, and that's what will get them in trouble.
We wanted to talk to someone about resources.
We put a hidden camera on a Mexican illegal immigrant whistleblower. Caesar also saw a sign for Las Palmas.
Quieren cobrar dinero por nosotros.
Mark, go ahead and skip to 12 minutes in.
Many subcontractors, many money grabs that get paid no matter what.
Listo para ser bebés americanos, ¿verdad? Con mucha gente que se viene, también son como
Turn it down just a smidge.
¿verdad?
Pero tiene mucho pedo con eso. Yo solo le pregunto por el tatuaje, si te entienden, pero...
Sí, pero todavía hay muchos que se pasan.
Caesar, while inside the compound,
Turn it up a little bit, please.
There were over 150 pots
3/4 of the way.
stuffed with illegal immigrants, all into the same room. The migrants told Caesar that these NGOs are all about the money.
Sí.
This is in like a hotel event like room or something, like a conference room at a hotel.
Yeah, press pause, Mark. So I think it might be like, it's like a conference room or like a church or something. But the really odd thing is like, James O'Keefe is doing the like homeless man bit out front. So there's like police officers and different like guards, and they're really, really, really careful about who gets close to the building. And actually, I want to kind of segue this because there's these buses that are bringing the illegal immigrants in. Leighton, can you actually pull up real quick the pictures of the buses in Springfield?
Yeah. It wasn't just in Springfield; it was in Seymour too. Actually, the thing about that is that I looked it up, and someone told me that wasn't illegal immigrants; that was just that was prison training.
That is what they would say, though. Let's show the pictures still.
Let me find it. I would need to.
Okay, well, Mark, keep playing this while Leighton finds that.
¿Verdad? Caesar also saw a sign for Las Palmas, which is a nursing home contracted to clean the hotel, do the laundry, and do breakfast.
All right, here it is.
Okay, go ahead and pause that.
Many money grab.
So, this is posted on the Seymour Uncensored Residents Facebook page. You can see a bunch of buses transporting, like 4 of them. They're unmarked. There's nothing in them. Or, well, you can't see anything in them because
the windows are blacked out.
There's all these buses just driving in the middle of like a small town, and 4 unmarked charter buses headed towards Ava on East 14. And this went through Seymour. This went through, It went through Ava. It's really weird. People are saying that it's a prison training program, but a lot of people are also saying that it's an illegal immigration.
Well, I wonder where those buses are going. We should look into this a little bit, because you think if there's like, okay, let's be like conservative and say there's like 5,000 illegal immigrants getting in a day, which there's probably more. Like there is a plan in place that we're not hearing about to spread them out clearly. And that's what we're seeing in this video, because the residents in Tucson and don't know that this is happening. Like, who knows how James O'Keefe got the clip here, the insider clip. I'm going to add Mark's back to the page. Mark, we pull up the OMG media thing and skip to 17 minutes in, please, Mark.
Okay.
I'm not going to go on that property. Okay. And there was literally a bus right behind the sheriff, and he's like, I don't know. There's a bus filled with illegal immigrants coming to a hotel.
If you guys were to come back onto the property after we've instructed you guys that you guys are formally trespassed, it would be a criminal offense.
Are you just following orders? So
this is where our taxes are going.
Right behind him.
love it.
Sheriff acting like he doesn't know what's going on.
Orders?
I asked him if he's just following orders. Are you following orders?
We would have to arrest you guys, all right?
Historically, that doesn't work so well.
You guys don't do that for the night, all right?
What is your name and badge number?
My name is Deputy Carter. Badge number is 9080.
Is that a bus filled with illegal immigrants behind you?
I'm not sure.
You know it's a bus. Don't lie to me.
You know that's. Do you guys have any other questions about?
Yes. Why did you just lie to me that you're not sure what that is? Is that a bus filled with illegal immigrants?
Sir, I'm not on the bus.
Look behind you.
All right, guys. So we'll leave it at that.
There's a bus with immigrants going to a hotel, and you know
that's so blackpilling, man. That's so blackpilling.
A nightmare, right?
I mean, it's like the entire issue in one picture. They're blocking. They have the cops there to block the journalist from getting into a place where they're shipping illegal immigrants into.
That's the biggest black pill of them all, dude.
That's crazy.
So fucking weird. And
the man on the inside saying that they're allowing people with gang tattoos, they can identify the gang tattoos. They're not like, it is black.
I mean, none of them should be getting, shipped to these places. So what?
Agreed.
If they're shipping all these people in, why would they stop somebody with a face tattoo? The motive is already skewed, so why would it matter to them?
Right.
It's destruction. Pure destruction.
Is really weird, dude. Like it's fucking crazy and kind of dystopian a little bit. Like it feels like that there's some kind of like plot going on with all of this.
Oh, totally. Well, and I've been thinking about that a lot recently, because with Joe Biden, like the first couple of years and like when it first happened, I really did believe that it was just like gross incompetence, but nobody is this incompetent. This is malevolent. this isn't happening because of incompetence. They are intentionally telling Texas, you know, you can't put razor wire, you can't defend the border. They're, instead of dealing with our homeless, you know, which it's like, I'm not one for giving a bunch of handouts to the homeless, but I much rather us use taxpayer money to give handouts to people who are citizens of this country than to foreign invaders, you know, they're getting priority over the homeless in our own country. You know, this is by design. This is not incompetence. You cannot be this incompetent. They're doing this shit intentionally. And it's just, you know, it is to undermine Western society. You know, people talk about like Democrats trying to get Hispanics into the country so they have like a better voter base. And that might be part of it. It surely is. But, you know, I just think anything to make sure that white culture doesn't exist, you know, or like Western culture or American culture, like anything to undermine the underpinnings of our foundation. They're just constantly attacking those nonstop.
Yeah, it's destruction top to bottom. And
Well,
you know, these people view our society and us as inherently evil and oppressive. And so we deserve to be taken down a notch. And that's what this is.
Well, it's like, it's the saying, you know, if you ain't got nothing to hide, then, you know, just like speak normally. But these people are like hiding. They're like acting really weird to questions. They're acting weird in general about a lot of different stuff. So I would not be surprised if this is some kind of huge plot, some kind of conspiracy.
What was the conspiracy theory that Jesse brought up that you guys knew about that I hadn't heard of? You know what I'm talking about?
I can't remember.
With like the FEMA camps and Walmart and everything being staged.
Yeah, Operation Jade Helm. He thinks is like the government getting ready to exterminate people or something like that. I mean, it's probably right though.
Kurt, have you heard of this conspiracy theory?
No, tell me more.
Leighton, can you find us like a little YouTube video about it or something? Mark, will you explain it?
I don't know. It's probably a rabbit hole.
So Jade Helm 15, it was like what is it? It was like a military training program. It turned out to be, but there's this theory that we're all going to be under martial law. You know, states were going to be like locked up. Walmarts were going to be closed. I have some videos. Like all the videos for Jade Helm 15 got taken down, but
If they close the Walmarts, where are you going to go to do your taxes?
yeah, this might be a video about it. Shut the fuck up.
Or questions about mysterious Walmart. No, that's fucking not going to help us at all, Leighton. That's ABC News.
But I mean, if you knew about like Operation Lockstep, which you can't even find anymore on the internet, but like 10 years before COVID, they come out with Operation Lockstep where they're like, in case of a worldwide pandemic, we're going to have lockdowns and forced vaccinations and all these different things that they like basically tell you what they're going to do. And they cover it with like it's a government continuity program, or it's like, it's always this thing to like make sure things are stable when there's a crisis, when really they're telling you how they're going to orchestrate the crisis and what to do.
Here's the only thing I ever saw about it. Oh, okay. Yeah. What you got there? Yeah.
BitChute's my favorite conspiracy website. I love looking at it to see all the.
I can't hear it, Leighton. The audio's not working.
Is it not working? Oh shit.
There we
go.
By fighting the enemy, but what actually transpires
it's high impact
is often
flex.
the
Holy
opposite.
shit.
Rather than keeping the people safe, personal liberties are eroded.
This is
the
how I
common
discovered
man is
it.
entangled in, maimed, or destroyed by the horrors of war. Economies are destroyed, and an unspeakable accumulation of casualties and the deaths of individuals who are used as pawns expand the cash-filled coffers and power of the elite. The political leaders, pursuit will be lived large, can live even more extravagant lifestyles. Back to his farm.
I remember
like just dictatorship anytime soon.
Yeah, this is all just like.
End quote.
This is all fucking mad balls, but.
Okay, I'm gonna take that down. I remember the only thing that I saw with the Jade Elm stuff is I remember seeing this image. I did find it again. It's kind of, but it's like, I remember seeing this, like FEMA supposedly ordered like a bunch of guillotine blades. Like this was the picture I remember seeing. And the conspiracy was kind of like they were going to have these set up like underneath Walmarts for like when it's time to like start like depopulating.
That's fucking scary as hell.
And I saw other ones, they have fields full of plastic coffins just stacked on top of each other. Thousands upon thousands of plastic coffins.
Yeah, and like if you think about the intro to that animation we watched the other day, I know this is getting a little schizo now, but like the intro to I Pet Goat 2 is the goat in a FEMA camp. So it's like some kind of predictive programming. Here, I'll pull this up real quick. I mean, we watched this the last stream. We're not going to watch hardly any of it, but you know, it starts with a FEMA camp. A little guard dog and
what the hell am I watching right now?
The whole video.
Oh, bro. Kurt, if you haven't seen I Pet Goat 2, you need to watch that. We watched it on the last stream where I'd play it for you, but
no, I'll watch. I'm gonna watch it later. I'm sold based on
it's
that.
crazy. And what's weird? Okay, so Alex Jones interviewed the guy that directed it, and so there is an interview between Alex Jones and the guy who created the thing. But Heliofont, the studio that created that video, was created to produce that one video. They never did anything before or anything after. And it's a very bizarre video that just kind of is like floating out in the ether.
I'm putting it in the chat. Is that the right link right there? The one that I just put in there.
Let me see. Could be. Yeah.
It's got 5.9 million views on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Save that for later.
And you know, I want to kind of, you know, I want to do me news. I'm stealing Gavin's bit. I mean, I want to do me news a little bit because I will say this because I'm about to promote another friend's podcast, but it's worth sticking around to listen to because first of all, go and like and comment on Dale Carter's America. Go subscribe to Dale Carter's America. It's a great program. Kurt puts a lot of work into it. Dell puts a lot of work into it. Their commentary is fresh. It's not the same shit you hear everybody else saying. News. So Dell Carter's America. Go like and subscribe to that, and go leave a comment. And Kurt's a good dude, and we should all support each other. And you know, it's hard to do this stuff, and none of us are getting much attention or views for doing it. So every little bit helps. So I want to get that out before I go pimping out a different thing. He's like, go subscribe to Dell Carter's America. But anyhow, so me, Mark, and my friend Mason, I want to talk about him a little bit. Mark, will you pull up the Don't Forget video that we did in Kansas City? Me and Mark were in a band called the Midwest Mutts. Me and my buddy Mason from back in the day started it. It's how I got in the Springfield music scene and started writing songs and stuff. And we couldn't find a drummer. So we reached out to Mark. We were like, dude, we can't find a drummer. We have a gig booked. We need somebody. And Mark was literally like, I suck at drums. Ask somebody else. And I was like, we've asked everybody, dude. Can you rehearse this weekend? So he showed up and started playing with us. Do you have that clip ready, Mark?
Yep. So
we got to go to Kansas City and record this. This was our first single. Here, go ahead and play it, Mark. This was like 6 or 7 years ago now, I think. That's not me. That's the other guitar player. There's Mark.
That's me.
But so
I give you all of my heart.
I remember Mason was so pissed at that session because he decided to sing it different than he sang it typically. And then like we were all super hungover. We partied the night before. We made asses of ourselves for our hosts. And it was not long after that, Mark quit the band. We were playing a show at the Front of House Lounge on South Street. And Mason got on stage and went, "Hail Satan!" And like everybody went. and literally after that show, Mark was like, "Yeah, guys, I don't think I can do this anymore." And so me and Mason kept the band going for years. We replaced everybody in the band multiple times over. And at that time, I was kind of the voice of reason, I think. And Mason was busy trying to do like blood magic to make us famous. He was doing all kinds of weird shit. But so the way the band ended is I was in a tribute band and I was in the car hanging out with some people, and Mason called me and he was like, "Hey, I've been praying to God, and God said he wanted me out of the band like yesterday. So don't tell anybody." You know, we had like a 3-day tour plan that we were still going to do. He's like, "But after that, I'm done. Like, I have to get out of the band. I have to get right with God." He did. He's involved in a church in Kansas City now. He's married to his wife, who was his girlfriend at the time. He's got 2 beautiful children. But he actually just started his own podcast recently. And somebody, Mark, will you cue that up? Do you see that in there? So he started his own podcast. It's called Sovereign Fire. And it's a lot more like, I guess, safe for work than this podcast. I like to talk shit, and we use about every foul word in the book, except maybe like a handful.
Except for the ones that would get us banned. We do not use those words ever.
We use them on our own time.
We do that. We vent all of our frustrations off.
So I feel like I used to be the more reasonable one, but I'm going to pass the torch to Mason, where he's the more mature and more reasonable one now, and I'm kind of just like stirring shit and getting angry. But if you would go ahead and we'll watch the intro to this, and I watched this whole interview, guys. It's worth your time. He's talking. It's the testimony of somebody he went to church with, who is a gay man, he's celibate, you know. So, anyways, go ahead and play the clip.
Nice. The core of who you are, according to the Bible, is not your sexual attraction. It is if you're not in Christ Jesus, it is that you're dead in your sins. That is who you are.
Yeah.
And plead with you to turn from your ways and to trust in Jesus Christ. Move from death into life by the grace of God. The greatest act of love you can give someone is to share the gospel with them, to be Jesus to them, to meet them in that moment. Let them know you are fully known and fully loved by me. Also, I need you to know that you need to trust in Jesus, that this way of life, and this is for any sin. We are not to affirm any sin. But especially question, and because this is so prevalent, especially in progressive Christian culture, churches, it is wholly unwise, completely unfoolish, and entirely hateful to affirm people in their sin and to not push them towards the arms of Jesus.
So go ahead and pause that there. So what's interesting about that clip, and that's towards the end of the interview, but it's like, you know, this man that's clearly slightly effeminate and like just like obviously gay, you know, not every gay man is obviously gay, but if you talk to that man, you would suspect it. But the fact that he can look at the woke church and see that these people are affirming like seekers of Christ in their sin, that's actually like a hateful thing. And I couldn't agree more. And I don't think I could put it so eloquently. You know, I feel like it means more coming from him, because he recognizes the value of you know, people in the gay community who are seeking a relationship with Christ. And if you're seeking that and you end up finding some kind of woke deacon or woke pastor and they affirm you in your sin, that person doesn't care about you. That person is fucking sending you to hell by lying to you and affirming that sin. Anybody want to pick up on that?
I mean, in the end, it's about whose fundamental beliefs are true. They fundamentally think that this is hateful. Like, they would think that guy is indoctrinated and that he's the one preaching hate, when really they're the ones who are hateful, because they would think that because that guy considers his spirituality more important than his sexuality, that there's something wrong with him. And that's like only a logical conclusion if you believe that people aren't spiritual and that people are basically just animals, and that what they like to have sex with is probably the most important thing about them. So that's what needs to be priority. It's just that they've got it flip-flopped again.
Well said. Yeah, you know, I wonder how many people that are leaders in the woke churches do believe that that we're just like biological mass that's going to go to nowhere.
Speaking of woke churches, I was driving in Springfield today and I saw the Universalist Church with the pride flag and the Black Lives Matter flag next to it.
Yeah,
it's like, how's that? Like, I don't understand how that works, because it's like, I mean,
it's a grift.
Itself is a sin.
the Universalist Church is a total grift against the Catholic Church. Like, because the Catholic means universalist, and the Universalists established the church to like spite the Catholics. And it's the worship anybody. Jesus is like the central thing, but it's like you can be gay, you don't have to repent of sin. Like the Universalist Church is like, it's basically just a place for people without a social life to make friends. Like it's, which is not bad in and of itself. What is bad is that it calls itself a church.
It's another double standard. They're like, traditionalism is so oppressive. Let's start a family and have a church.
Right. I went to a couple Universalist churches for gigs, not for worship, but
they are very music oriented.
Yeah, yes. This was way back before, you know, well, I won't get into all that, but back in college when I was living in Virginia, and it's like not all, but predominantly like old hippies, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much like that kind of vibe. And, you know, poetry slams, drum circles, you name it. all the worst things that you could possibly imagine.
I mean, like Universalist Church in general, like I don't think like it understands what Christianity is. Christianity is having a relationship with God and knowing that you're a sinner, that you're destined to go to hell, but accepting Jesus in your heart as your savior. And like believing that you're not going to go to hell for certain things is like, I mean, that like defeats the whole purpose of Christianity, because Jesus was sent on earth to die for your sins. Like that, it doesn't make sense to me. It's weird.
Yeah, for any story to have like any real drama to it, there can't be like a safety net all the time. There has to be like an actual possibility that things can go wrong. And that's what they're missing, is that their story is really not complete, because the grace of God only makes sense against the backdrop of God's wrath and God's righteous anger against sin. So it's
Universalist churches are just for pussies in general.
Well, that's true, but they are more consistent than other woke churches, because the Universalist Church, the claim is that there is no hell. So it makes sense that you can do anything, go to heaven. Other woke churches think there is a hell, but what do you go there for? For being right wing? Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, probably.
Shud's in the Bible.
They probably unironically believe that. It's like, if you don't believe that Black Lives Matter, you're going to hell. That's the.
There's a woke church in town that I got obsessed with and watched a lot of their sermons for a while. It's called The Venues. They've hosted drag queen events and all kinds of shit, and they're
great.
Their leaders. Okay, so one of their leaders is called Ben Stringer, I think his name is. He's the assistant pastor. I talked to him for about 2 hours one time, because they have a thing called Beer Church downtown, and when it was cold outside, to their credit, they were allowing homeless people to stay there. And I went and I served and helped in order to be able to talk to the oh geez, look at that woman's haircut. But I went and served to be able to talk to the assistant pastor, and we just kept going around and around and around. And I couldn't figure out why he was woke, because he knew the scriptures. I can't remember specifically what scriptures we got caught up on, but I talked for like 2 hours, and I could tell that I was kind of loosening something up in him. You know, his eyes looked a little concerned by the end, and you know, we got done talking. I couldn't really make heads or tails of it, and his daughter walked up dressed like a boy and said, "Dad, can we go? This little boy's hungry." And I'm like, oh, he's fallen into heresy. It's like a chicken or an egg thing, but I think with this guy, he seems normal enough that his daughter probably got into the trans thing, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm backwards," and like reshaped his shit around.
God, it's so sad, man.
It is. It really is, dude. And he's like, it's so like California. Like Ben does like Kundalini yoga at the church and like all this kind of bullshit. And then the head pastor is like this really effeminate, skinny old man who says how he used to be a Southern Baptist, and his whole thing is just like being nice. But they did a whole 1.5-hour sermon on the song. So they did a series where every week they talked about a Beatles song and did a whole sermon on a Beatles song. So of course 1 week was Imagine. And so they're pretty much, the whole thing was like, if you're a Christian and you don't like the song Imagine, you need to rethink that, and you're not looking at it the right way, and you're not open-minded. I'm like, Imagine is a humanist communist anthem. It has no room in the church, shouldn't be played in the church, probably shouldn't be encouraged. An hour and a half sermon trying to convince somebody like me to accept the song Imagine. Like,
I actually found a really cool, really funny article. A trans Christian minister came out in a sermon. Now she's bracing for what comes next, by the very trusted media source Vox.
Oh yes.
Yeah, what the fuck? The trans flag, the Black Lives Matter.
Wait, that's a trans woman?
That's a trans woman. Look at her. You see that? I can't really see the Adam's apple.
I don't know. That one's presenting pretty well, honestly. Like, if that walked up to me, I would think it's a lady.
If that walked up to me, I'd fucking hide. Yeah, this is yeah, basically it just explains that she's like a trans minister, and that's kind of weird. Like, I think like God loves you just the way that you are. Just
I mean,
don't-
look at this insanity. One day God said, "Oh, hey, June." Like, if she thinks God is directly talking to her,
probably.
She said, God said to me one day when I was 11, "I want you to do something." Like, no way.
Well, here's another one.
Oh.
This on the back. Some of this is like a comedy sketch. It's like we're living in this weird.
Is there anything worse than a woman pastor, trans or not? I mean,
Hardly.
It's
What?
like I
The
feel
only
like
thing worse than like trans pastors is a woman from like a good theological congregation that's starting to wonder why women aren't pastors and won't just like refer to the Bible.
I don't know. It's just like I feel like every day I wake up in this weird comedy sketch of a world. Like I feel like we're living in a world peace sketch.
It's clown world for sure.
We could get into the meaning of clown world. Have you ever heard that quote from Kierkegaard about how the world will end?
No, but I have a Kierkegaard book sitting over there. And just
So-
aside, I'm gonna add Mark. Is that your screen or here? We're gonna put Mark's screen up. Oh, I thought you
was searching for something, but
Oh, okay, never
I
mind. We'll let
closed it.
Leighton do it. We'll let Leighton do it. What is it?
Well, Soren Kierkegaard said that he made this joke, quote unquote, where a clown runs into a theater and warns people that there's a fire, and they all start laughing, and then he starts getting serious. He's like, "No, you're all going to die. The theater is on fire," and the people just start getting crazier and laughing and more. And he said, "This is how I think the world will actually end." So he, like, his point was that the people that everyone thinks are jokers are actually the people who are like telling the most truth, and a lot of times it's a warning that people in general don't want to hear. So that's what the actual, like, people think the clown world meme is like racist, when really it's like people are trying to warn you about something, and there's no other way to do it besides joke about it.
Right.
I can't find this because it's like every single website that I'm looking at, it says that it's a Nazi talk whistle.
What's not?
That's what I'm saying. It's like they just don't get the meme, so when they see it, they think it's like hateful.
Even Urban Dictionary says it's a Nazi like talk whistle.
When it's deep, it's like it's about things being upside down.
And if you think about like the image, like it's so popular, the image of the sad clown, and it's like symbolic, this idea of this character that is producing laughter and joy in other people and being silly all the time. There's this deep corruption and sadness. Like maybe the person who is a children's birthday party clown is a severe alcoholic, or has worse problems even. So there's like this kind of dichotomy of like, you'll either laugh or you cry. So this like miserable thing that you're observing, it's either going to make you hysterical in one of two ways. You're either going to find it amusing or you're going to weep bitterly.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer to laugh, if I'm being honest with you.
Same, dude. I gotta dip out, guys, but I appreciate the invite.
Yeah,
And,
this is
do it again soon.
Yes, please. Thank you, Kurt. Everybody
All
go like and subscribe. Del Carter's America. Go follow Kurt.
Absolutely. All right. God bless. Cheers.
God bless. See you, brother.
That was a good guest. Go
Yeah,
check him
that's
out,
great.
guys. Del Carter's America. You can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you want.
It's a good show. It's a really good show. I listen to it pretty regularly. I like to steal their stories when I can use them. So this is pretty much the end of the show here. We've hit just a ton of topics tonight. We're at the 2-hour mark now. It looks like we lost Grayson at some point in the stream. I think he's been having some trouble. Either that or he's just felt less chatty.
Yeah. Well, I think we lost him. I don't know.
We need to keep the topics rolling. They're losing interest.
I know. Well, it's hard without a producer.
We got to have flashing lights and Subway Surfers on the side of the screen to
More gay alarms.
User retention.
More gay alarms. Here, wait. Are you not entertained?
More loud noises.
All right, boys. This is what I got with my tax return. Thank you guys for watching. This has been a Late Night Freedom stream. This is the Late Night Freedom stream. Go Chiefs!